Speaking of begging it, attention-seeking, narcissistic nutbags, Extinction Rebellion, is the probably one of the worst, one of the most beige death cults of all time so far. Yes, these are the kind of doomsday death cults we have in 2019. 50 Shades of Beige. Anyway, I'm going to keep constantly plopping on Extinction Rebellion because they're on my radar now. And, I've read the 48 Laws of Power. I'm a 50 Cent fan. I'm going to extinguish them before planet Earth is extinguished if I have my way about it. Because they just annoy me. They annoy me. You're annoying me. Go away. You're really bugging me right now. Shh. Extinction Rebellion, man climbs on top of plane in climate protest. Now you see, there's nothing worse than having a plane delayed, right? And do you know how many times I've flown in 1 year, in the past year? 18 times. I'm proud of my carbon footprint. Do you know why? Carbon dioxide is actually helping the planet become a greener place. Plants breathe carbon dioxide. I don't know if you know about science and stuff, but they breathe that shit and then they release more oxygen. Did you know that? So, and the planet's getting warmer? Well, good, because I'm in England right now and it's fucking cold. So, good. It's good. Anyway, and if that really upsets you, even better. I hope it upsets you. I do. I genuinely hope it upsets you. I hope you cry. I do. I really do. Because that's the only reason I'm doing it, is just to upset you. Yeah, I'm talking directly to you. I'm just doing this to upset you, and there's no other reason I'm doing it. I'm literally going out of my way to upset you. That's the only reason I'm doing this, is to just deliberately trigger and upset you. That's the only reason I'm doing this. I have no other reasons for doing it. There's no other incentive. It's literally just to piss you off. That's the only reason I'm doing it. Okay? So now we've got that established, I will continue. A Paralympic medalist climbed on top of a British... Oh, yeah, I was saying, because I've flown so many times, so I totally lost weight by being a prick. If there's ever a plane delay, if I found out that there's a blind man, because he's blind, he's not a proper Paralympian, he's just one of the ones that can't see. I don't think they count, they should have their own thing. But if I found out he was on top of the plane, well, I'd definitely go up there and boot him off it. And he wouldn't see me coming, would he? So I'd definitely do it. I would do that. Anyway, Paralympic medalists climb on top of the British Airways plane at London City Airport as part of an ongoing protest by Extinction Rebellion. James Brown. Oh, God. Well, at least we know that there's been better James Browns on planet Earth. Who is visually impaired. Oh, he's not even blind. Filmed himself clinging to the fuselage as he streamed a live message online. So he's clinging onto a plane whilst using, pollutant technology to broadcast to his... Okay. Metropolitan Police Commissioner Dame Cressida Dick... I'm sorry. I don't know what that could sound like, but it's still... Dame Cressida Dick? I don't know, it doesn't sound like anything, but... From the dick bit, but... Dame Cressida Dick! Anyway, described the action as reckless, stupid, and dangerous. About 50 arrests were made at the airport. Good. I hope you kicked him in the head. I'm literally saying most of this stuff to piss people off. That's the only reason I do it. Another man refused to sit in his seat, delaying a flight by nearly 2 hours. Well, you would have got knocked out as well, pal. Why didn't someone just knock him out? I mean, on the fourth day of climate change protests disrupting the UK centred on London City Airport, police arrested people blocking the airport entrance as others glued themselves to the floor. I like this whole gluing themselves to the... If you see someone glue themselves to the floor, then you kind of got carte blanche to do whatever you want. Don't poo on them and don't pee on them. Don't physically hurt them. But, scream in their face for 10 minutes straight. It's fine. The airport's chief executive, Robert Sinclair, said flights ran largely on time or with slight delays, although 2 flights were cancelled. Well, that's what the chief executive of an airport would say, when it's probably not the case. Shortly after 1900 BST, He said there were no longer any protesters outside the terminal, although he advised people with flights on Thursday evening or Friday to check their flight status before travelling to the airport. Earlier in Westminster, tents and protesters were cleared from the roads leading to Parliament Square. Police said they were working to clear a camp in St James's Park, which was Trafalgar Square, the only other site still occupied in central London. God, but they all just piss off. Let's see what. Look at this old bumper clown. Let's see what he's saying.
I'm very sorry. We're going. Extremely sorry for the inconvenience.
Sit down so you don't fall over.
Sorry about the action. I'm not sorry about the action, but I'm sorry.
You know, it always makes me sad that really old people haven't like worked stuff out by now. You know, you've had all that time to work it out. It's tragic, isn't it, really? BBC News Nicholas Watt was on a Dublin-bound flight when a smartly dressed man, well, let's not go too far, stood up and walked down the aisle delivering a lecture on climate change. I mean, just even reading that sentence, it would make you think, I just bang him out. Just bang him out. Just knock him. Just like, oh, bang! I want to get to Benidorm. Cabin crew calmly and very politely asked the protester to retake his seat, and when he declined, they alerted the pilot. Did the pilot bang him out? Did anyone bang him out? He said the plane then taxied back to the gate where police escorted the protester off the plane. Aer Lingus said the passenger was removed due to disruptive behaviour on board, and a full security check on the aircraft was completed before the delayed flight could depart. Which I hope so, because you don't want to find fucking Swampy hanging on to your tail fin. At lunchtime, James Brown, a Paralympian cyclist from Northern Ireland, filmed himself sitting on top of the Amsterdam-bound plane, which had been due to take off just after 1300 BST. He was booked onto the flight. Why are you getting on top of the plane, you freeloading prick? You got a ticket, you could have gone. In a live stream posted on Facebook, he said it was scary because he hated heights. Look, I don't like heights, but getting on top of a fucking plane? Shut up. And you can't see anyway. You can. What do you mean? I don't like the things I can't see. Shut up. Oh man, I'm shaking, he went on. This is all about the climate and ecological crisis. Oh, he's so brave, isn't he? He's afraid of heights, and he got on top of a plane. You know how high planes are? Oh, by the way, a plane that hasn't started flying yet. There's a plane on a runway. I got actual vertigo, so... You know, I got actual vertigo, and I don't remember George Bush. I got actual... So, like, it's going to get on the plane. Yeah, he's there, but he can't see anyway. He can't see the fucking... He can't see how high up he is anyway. Oh, man, I'm shaking. I'm so scared. Oh, you're so brave. Oh, God, you're so brave. Blind man, you are brave. Yeah, let's raise a toast to the brave blind man. Thank you, brave blind man, for... So, what is it you did? Well, thank you, though. I mean, I don't know what you did, but thanks. This is all about the climate and ecological crisis. We're protesting at government action on climate and ecological breakdown. They declare climate emergency and do nothing about it. Met Commissioner Dame Cressida Dix said, my early understanding is somebody has been arrested after they presumably brought a ticket. Went through security perfectly normally, went up the steps of a plane and held themselves on top of a plane. Well, how did he get up there? He's blind. He must have had inside help. Go on, Cressida. You find the fucking mole and we'll take the rest. Actually, that was a reckless, stupid and dangerous thing to do for all concerned. But I think you can see that is quite a hard thing to predict or stop from happening. What, stopping a blind man climbing onto a plane? No, I don't think it's that difficult, is it? She said a full review of security at the airport would be carried out. Well, I think so. Police said more than 1,000 people have been arrested since Monday. 1,000? I can't believe they got... There's probably 1,000 murderers out there that haven't been arrested. And yet 1,000 douchebags have been arrested. Because they deliberately wanted to get arrested. Isn't that Extinction Rebellion's the whole thing? That they want to be arrested? Like, go home, Roger. Go home. I've never quite seen a movement all the people involved in the climate crisis, activists and protesters. I've never seen a movement put people off stuff so much, like actually turn people. Because despite what you think about climate change and all the hoi polloi around it, even if it is all 100% what they're saying it is, because the thing is, climate change is real, because the climate is changing and it always is changing. So you can't deny it at any point, and there aren't actually any climate change deniers. It's kind of a myth, because everyone agrees that the climate is changing. It's just what it's going to do, how much, blah blah blah. It's like all the nuances of it. But so it doesn't matter. Like, the climate is changing, but I've never seen a bunch of people try to make more people aware and care about something, and yet make more people care less. Yes, I'm telling you. Because even I went down, and I'm going to put this on my next podcast, but I'll say it now. I went down a rabbit hole of looking into the people who are against climate change, as in the people who say the opposite. Because I was like, well, the climate change deniers, but I found out there's no such thing. It's just the science is different. It's just, it is amazing how many people disagree with what Extinction Rebellion and Greta Thunberg and the likes are saying, Al Gore. It's quite amazing how many people are out there, how many thousands of scientists disagree with what they're saying. And it was also amazing to see all these videos on YouTube where suddenly there was loads of real old videos. I mean, some stuff from 3 years ago, 5, 10 years ago, and there was loads of new comments. And they put up on YouTube, have put underneath all these videos like the Wikipedia definition of climate change. I've never seen them do that on anything before. You can look up the fucking KKK. They used to have like KKK songs on there and shit. Like, those are crazy shit. I've never seen them put anything up going, racism. The definition of racism. I've never seen. Go on. Try and search the most racist thing you can on YouTube and see what happens. They won't have a little Wikipedia thing going, well, you know, this is racist. But like with climate change, going, well, you know, this is climate. It's fascinating. But the point is like the amount of people that have been looking into the other side of the argument, I think, has increased. Just from what I've seen, I think, I'd like to do a good consensus of it, but I think it's increased since all this shit started happening. So in turn, Greta Thunberg and Extinction Rebellion have done the complete opposite of what they wanted to do. They've actually pushed more people away from their cause just out of disgust. And I'm telling you, I think even if people believe everything that they believe is going to happen, I think they want the world to burn now. I think they've turned people into nihilists. I think they've actually made everyone go, do you know what? I'll take one for the team. Fuck my kids. I want all these motherfuckers to die. I really do. I really do. These motherfuckers are twisted. On the one hand, they're like, oh, you know, the future for our children is doomed. You know, the future for our children. You know, think about our children. But then they're like, oh, but we must stop this at any cost. All right, well, how about we set fire to your fucking kids? Do you know what I mean? At any cost. At any cost. Doesn't matter what the cost is. All right, we want your children's eyes. We're going to use that as fuel. And do you know the worst part of it? They probably would give us their children's eyes. These motherfuckers are crazy. They're crazy. They'd actually donate their children's eyes over climate change. They're nutters. You can't trust someone who donate their own kids' eyes. Think about it. That's not good, is it? Hey, 29 people have been charged with various offences, police said, including 7 who were due to appear. Blah, 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 blah. Activists had been attempting a 3-day Hong Kong-style occupation of London City Airport. It's amazing that they compare what they're doing to what's going on in Hong Kong. I know they said it's Hong Kong, but I bet they think they are the same. I bet they actually think they're in the same struggle. I bet they think their struggles are equal. I bet they do. In fact, they probably think their struggle is more important. Because in their eyes, I mean, obviously, in their eyes it would be, because we're talking about the extinction of the planet. In their eyes, it's Armageddon. But, like, really? Yeah, this article goes on. What else we got? An 83-year-old man, Phil Kingston, was also arrested as hundreds of people blocked the main passenger entrance. It is the third time he's been arrested as part of the Extinction Rebellion protest this week. Right, Phil. Big Phil. Phil Kingston. You're 83. Actually, no, who cares? You're 83. You're fucking bored. You got arrested 3 times in a week. Do what you want. I mean, you know, you're in your golden years. Do what you want. If you want to go out and get arrested, I mean, you probably... I'd hope you've lived a full life and done everything you wanted. But if you haven't, and this is how you want to see out your golden years, you know, think again, mate. Come on, do something better. But you know, maybe it's fun getting arrested 3 times in a week for an 83-year-old man called Phil Kingston. So I don't know. Maybe he's living his best life. An activist who gave a name as Claire. Oh, Claire, mysterious. I'm Claire. Can you disguise my voice? My name is Claire. Told the PA news agency that protesters wanted to make the statement that there are many areas of our lives that are going to have to change because of the climate crisis we created. And one of them is flying. We can't carry on with life, with business as usual. Now, you see, it's very interesting because they constantly say that stuff like that. You know, we can't... There are many areas of our lives that are going to have to change. Well, yes, because if you implement the shit you want to implement, then yes, it will have to change because you've told everyone it has to change. It doesn't mean that we have to change because of the existential threat of annihilation. We're going to have to change because you told us we have to change, motherfucker. The same as some marauding fucking, you know, tyrant. Do you know what? I'll finish it. I don't even want to read any more of this. There's not much more. We know what's going on. But I tell you this. This is a fucking... You know when sometimes, right? Sometimes, you know, when I'm abroad and stuff, and I'll see British people about, and I'll be so embarrassed to be British or the way they're behaving and stuff, you know? And I'm just like, oh my God. Fuck me, and I have to tell people, you know, I ain't like that. I'm sorry. I have to be that arsehole, I'm afraid. But then there's other times when you really got to go, I fucking love being British. And this is why. Well, this is one of those times. I call it the Brexit fist. I'm telling you. This is what you drive me to. The UK's been invaded by many great armies and civilizations, from the Romans to the Vikings to the Normans to the Saxons to the Angles. A lot of people have come over and tried to, you know, and invaded this this great island, taken it over and run things. But nothing is worse than global activists trying to take over this fucking nation and the whole world. It's like one of the worst movements I've ever seen. It really is. I'd rather ISIS came. I would. Because at least ISIS wouldn't tax us as hard as these climate change nutters. Seriously. It would be so much better. ISIS are crazy. We would be better off under an Islamic lunatic caliphate, or a Christian lunatic caliphate, or a Buddhist lunatic, any lunatic caliphate, any hardline religious lunatic caliphate or empire would be better than being under the rule of these people, because that's what it is. They want to enforce their laws. They want everyone to toe the line. They want everyone to do what they're telling us to do. We would be better off. We would be. We'd have a better time. It's actually true. If you really think about it, if you think about all the ins and outs of everything and what they're saying and all this stuff, you know, Catholics made up the concept of hell, sort of. You know, not didn't make up the concept of hell, but they definitely pioneered it. You know, you shall sin, you shall go to hell. Climate change. Climate change activists, what do they say? Oh, do as we say, or you will burn under the fury of the sun. You know, it's funny because what the fuck has changed? Everything just goes in cycles. It's just the same shit. It's the same shit, except now they're under this whole thing of one person's interpretation of science. Like, you know, scientists 200 years ago thought one thing, and in 200 years from now they'll think a different thing. I don't think you realise that. You know, it was scientists who would have recommended you get a hole drilled in your head when you were mentally ill. You know, things develop. And the fact that you can't criticize or question the science that they're talking about is dubious, isn't it? Isn't it dubious that they won't accept criticism or shut people down? Like, I'm no climate change denier. I've been totally open to it until recently. Now I'm very skeptical about the whole thing because they just shoot down anyone that questions it, and they call them climate deniers, and they sort of label people as being lunatics. And I think when you see people using tactics like that and telling you you're going to burn, you're going to be extinct unless you do exactly what we tell you to do, or you know, like, haven't most people said fuck the Catholic Church? Fuckers, you know, fuck ISIS. Well, fuck these motherfuckers too.